Hello, 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 everybody. And this is the Beach Trader, and we're going to talk about strategy more today than just picking trades. And the most important part of trading is strategy, and you know, is part of the four methods of our goal is to have a strategy to trade that strategy every time. To know about our risk versus reward, do that every time. The more you can stay in the rhythm, the more you can stay doing the same thing over and over and over again. And, if that strategy has a high percentage of you winning, which just needs to be about 60%. One of my mentors, it's one of the best traders that I ever met. His strategy only wins 33% of the time. Like 40% of the time he's winning trades and he's a millionaire. Every year he's making millions of dollars. And, whenever I tell people that, they're like, well, how does this guy that's only winning 4 out of 10 trades a millionaire? And it's because his strategy is to lose most of his trades, but then when he wins big. So it would be a strategy that has to be almost a 4-to-1. So every time he loses, he's going to lose $100, but every time he wins, he's going to win $400. That's the only way for him to make money at a 40% ratio, because that's going to break even at 33%. And depending on how much you're trading, you don't need to win that more than lose to win, to be able to pay for your lifestyle. If you have the money, right? If you built up the money over time and you compound it, then you don't even need to win that much money. And that's the method of people that are rich in America. People that are rich in America, they're living off their interest of their money. What do you mean by that? Well, most people that are rich are, they call them trust fund babies or stock babies. There's a lot of them that live in San Diego. A lot of people retire in San Diego, and you're always running into these type of people that were just born rich, and they have money coming in every month, and there's no way to really stop it. Well, how does that happen? Well, if you get an annuity, that happens. If somebody sits $10 million in an account for you, that could happen for you. There's people that have money coming in all kind of ways that would amaze people. You know, um, and so this is what we're talking about. So you could do the same thing with trading that like happens on annuities, even with the low percentage of wins. If you have $2-3 million in an account, right, and all you're trying to do is basically win, like I just said. So if his win percentage is only 33%, he's gonna win one out of every, you know, basically one out of every four trades, as long as he wins more than that. If it's 25% and he wins 33 percent of the time, that means that he's making what? That means he's making about 8% every time that he's trading at the end of the day or at the end of the month. He's making 8% on his money because, you know, as long as he wins, that 8% more than what his strategy is doing. If he's 33% win and he wins 40% of the time, that means he has 7% that he's winning a month. 7% on a $2 million account, you could do the math. Some people could live off of that, right? So it depends on how much you have in the account, but you could build up your account, and that's what we're talking about. And that's why I created this thing called the Millionaire Marathon. The Millionaire Marathon is just that in itself. It shows you whatever you start with. You put your starting goal right here, and whatever you start with, it can show you how much you're going to win. So, how much do you want to win a month? if you're starting out with $5,000, well, some of us have $5,000 to start with. Some of us need to start this out at $500. But what you'll see is that if you constantly make a certain percentage a day, then whatever total you put in here, you're going to eventually reach $1 million. And that's the method of this strategy. And this one right here, I was just messing with the numbers for people to show them that even if you have like 3%, if you're shooting for 5%, you get 3%. And then the next day you hit 5, and the next day you only hit 2. The next day you lose 2%, right? 2% is the most that you could lose in a day, and you stop trading. So, and that's for 1 to 2% win a trade if you're on like the conservative long term, or you know, you can get to the point where you're trading 5%. So 5% would be the most you would lose would be 5%, on a different strategy, on the less conservative. And just by tweaking the conservative strategy by like 3%, and you go up to 5%, there's way more money that's possibly generated from your trading each time you trade. So I was looking for one of these millionaire marathons. I got a lot of them, but I'm gonna send this out to you guys again so you guys have it again. But let's see. I think this is the master one. All right, so I'm gonna make a copy for everybody. Let's see here. And here we go. Okay. So this one starts out at where? It starts out at $500. This is what I was telling everybody. We're gonna figure out how to make enough money to pay our bills with just $500. Because I feel like at a certain point, you can't go too low. I don't want to start at $100, but when you have this, you could put $100 here and you could start this at $100. But I want to be able to start at a realistic number. Some people ask me, Lonnie, I'm getting into trading. I want to pay my bills. How much do I need? Well, in the beginning, when I teach you how to trade, I don't want you to trade your money, period. I I want you to learn how to trade first before you start trading your money. It doesn't make sense to trade real money in the beginning. That's what the mentor taught me to do, and I didn't listen, and I lost in the beginning. And that's back when I was in my 20s and I was making millions of dollars a year off of real estate, and I wanted to like switch up what I was doing. So, I put like, what was it, 10,000 or something. I built it up to 40,000, and I lost 40,000 on one trade. And so I'm gonna always remember that $40,000 I lost in like 5 minutes from going to the bathroom, which was good for me. But the average person doesn't need to take a loss like that. The average person, if they lost, $10,000 they put in the account, built it to 40,000, and then lost that in 5 minutes over trading for like, a month or two, 3 months or something to make it up to 40,000, probably wouldn't trade anymore. Probably that would discourage the person and they wouldn't trade. A lot of people quit trading and they'll never be successful in trading if they quit. And I don't blame them, because most people, it says in the world, quit 90% of the time when they start something. 90% of businesses fail. So there's always this 90% of everybody's not going to make it. Everybody's not going to make it when they go to college. Everybody's not going to get through high school. So it just is what it is. And so we got to put those percentages in there just to allow you to understand that you don't want to lose your money, because losing your money in the beginning is a thing that takes most people out of the game. You got to look at this as something that's going to change your life forever, that you're going to be able to push a button and make money. You'll be able to teach somebody else how to do it. Once it gets easy enough for you and simple enough for you, it could be something that you teach your kids when they get burnt out of their job, or you can retire your wife, or you can retire your husband. This is something that could take over the growth expectancy of your whole family and generations to come, because this is the number one way to make money in the world. And the world doesn't want you to know how to do this because the world wants you to. The old saying is go to school, do really good so you can get a really good job. But who do you think made that up? Who do you think made the schools up? The people that made schools up are rich people, right? Because they wanted a working class. They wanted people to work for them. That's why you get the education so you can work for somebody else. But I'm it's so funny because I'm two classes away from my master's degree, and I'm writing this 55-page uh, work capstone project about how they need to introduce entrepreneurial education and financial literacy in K through 12 grade. And so, and that's what I'm always thinking. And I always taught my kids that, because if you don't have something like that, it can go wrong. If you don't understand that, your main goal is to kind of build and do something that can change your family's trajectory, right? You don't want to just be, year after year after year. This is my report right here: empowering student agency through financial and entrepreneur literacy. And so I'm reading all these books, and it's going to be about 55 pages. I think right now it's like 20 something pages, but I got to read all these books about, stuff about the problem, and how the economy is and things like this. So I'm always researching this stuff. I'm always trying to figure out, how can we teach other people to not just be in the working class. But here we go right here. So $500 is what I want you guys to start out with when you know how to push the buttons. And sometimes when people get into the academy, they say, "Well, I'm ready to make the money." And I can kind of tell by talking to people if they're ready to put real money in. Real money means that you're winning now consistently. I was talking to Jaime yesterday, and he's doing really good. And last week he wasn't really doing that good on his win percentages. And we talked about, the spread, and we talked about getting in a trade and you're already losing the trade. If your stop loss is too low, you'll lose that trade. Right. And then we started talking about lot sizes, like how many lots should you trade when you're looking for a certain amount of number. You can't just put in a high lot trade and say, tell the robot to lose at 2% or win at 2%, because when you get into a trade, to lose 2% or win 2%, you're already down on the spread, and you're not giving yourself any room or any cushion. The average trade should take about one candle length to three candle lengths to win. That's what the robot says. That's what the analytics say. That's what it, if you test the computer system, that's what makes it a 90% strategy and an 84% strategy, is that it has time to win the trade. It has one candle time to three candle times to win the trade. So if you're in trades and it constantly closes out in 5 minutes, and you're not taking 5 minute trades on the robot, then you're doing the wrong thing. But if your trades are usually taking, if you're taking a 15-minute trade, and most of your trades, 50% of them are happening between, 15 minutes and 45 minutes, then you're doing good. Then you're doing exactly. But how do you trade the different trades? You got to go to trading view if you want to trade 5 minute trades, right? Obviously, right here, we're looking US dollar versus Japanese yen. It went straight up right here. It went down right here, right? This one probably lost, or it might have flatlined. You might have got back up here. Who knows? And I was telling them, after a certain amount of candles, let's say 1, 2, 3 candles, this obviously isn't going to hit your stop loss right here. This is just kind of consolidated. But when it goes back, I was telling them, like, after 2 to 3 candles, like somewhere in here, you're losing, let's say, $10, $20. But your stop loss is at, let's say, $50 or $60. Then you're gonna tell it at this point to make your stop loss go back, or your take profit. If it's losing, you're gonna make your take profit go back to your start. So wherever you took the trade, you're going to make your take profit. If it goes back to that area, then you don't lose anything or you win a dollar. That's what I do on my take profit. If it's losing after 2 to 3 candles, I put my take profit back where the trade started. So on this trade, it went down here, but I didn't lose because I went back to the trade 2 to 3 candles later and I put my take profit to not lose, to just win a dollar. So right here is when it would have closed out on this trade and I wouldn't have lost. Right now, if I'm on this trade right here, then 1, 2 to 3 trade or 2 to 3 candles, I do the same thing. Now with this, I'm doing a stop loss. I change my stop loss so it goes back up to this point right here, right? So when it hit right here, then I got a dollar again. That's how you don't take losses and you constantly either break even on a trade or you win bigger. I was teaching him that right there. That's kind of like a master trading thing. But a lot of people say, but you got to ask the question, right? What do I do when I come, or when do you look at your trades? Beach trader, I always say, well, I look at my trades 2 to 3 candles in, because on average, it's going to take 2 to 3 candles for the trade to close out itself. So right here, it tells me to take this trade. I take this trade. I don't have to look at the trade for the first 15 minutes. I don't have time in my mind to do that because me looking at trades for the whole time is stressful, because now you've seen it went the wrong way a little bit and you're stressing out yourself, and trading can become stressful if you let it become stressful. Well, if I came back 30 minutes later and I'm right here and it goes way down here, I might have closed this out myself down here somewhere, right? Okay, let's say I came back, 45 minutes later on the third candle. Well, I'm right here and I'm in profit down here. And I say, well, if it goes back to where it started at, I want to get a dollar. I might be winning, $30, $40 right here. I'll say, well, I was going to let it keep on going and I wanted to close out like down here somewhere. It would have closed out automatically, but it didn't get down there. So at this point of this candle, I'm not going to lose money. If I come back and look at my trade at this candle, I'm going to set it up so my stop loss is somewhere where the trade starts at. So it would have closed me out right here in a dollar profit. But guess what? I didn't lose, because now if you let it close out for you, you would have lost this trade right here. Or you would have won if you were looking at it down here. So that's the thing that's different. The thing that's different is on a losing trade, when it starts losing after 2 or 3 candles, I go in and I say my take profit. You got to switch your take profit from winning a lot of money. Instead of winning $50 way up here somewhere, you say, on my take profit, I just want to win a dollar. So as long as it goes back to right here at this point, then you win a dollar. And what happened? It went back the next trade and it would have closed you out right here. You could have came back this candle and closed out up here and won some money. So that's the difference. Sometimes I'm looking at these trades and saying these are winners. This is obviously a winner. This is obviously going to win for you. But even this one right here is a break even trade for me. So if you look at one trade won, 2 trades won. This is a break even. The third trade broke even. This trade right here, I would have broke even or won down here. So that's another one. Then this trade is a winner. So if you're looking at life like that, then as a master trader, you're going to win a lot of money on every trade that you take. Now, if you want to take fast trades and you just want to sit by the computer and trade all day, you got to switch it to 5 minutes. You got to switch it to 5. I wouldn't tell anybody to trade off anything lower than 5 minutes. Uh, there's a strategy that you could do that for 1 to 2 minutes, but it's worthless because you're not going to make that much money, and you're going to put too many high lot sizes and be trading speed trading, and that doesn't really work. So here we go right here. So if I switch it to 5 minutes, I won this trade right here. Boom, it went straight up, right? But these are faster type of trades, right? 5 minutes. This is 5 minutes in the trade. This is 10 minutes in the trade. This is 15 minutes in the trade. I won money down here. This is a 5-minute trade again. I won on the first 5 minutes. Even the second 5 minutes, 10 minutes in the trade, I won right here. I could have got out. I got in right here. I could have got out the 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So if you don't have enough time to trade, and you want to look at your trade on the 5 minutes. Trade on the 5 minutes, right? And that works with any of them. But what we got is we got trades coming out at the 15 minute, 30 minutes, 1 hour, 4 hours in one day. And that's how it shoots out on the Telegram. Okay. All right. Let's go back to this master copy. Okay. So what am I trying to do at $500? And I want to pay my bills, and I want to start making some money. Now I might not be able to pay my bills the first month. I might need to keep this account going for a little bit to be able to pay my bills. You know, some people want to make a $500 in a month. That's no problem. How many days do we trade in a month? We're usually trading 22 days in a month. Usually it's 22. Okay. Sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's 22. Why? Because I'm trading about 5 times a week on a account like this. This isn't your your retirement account. This isn't that $100,000, $200,000 that you'll put in, or this isn't the prop firm account if you buy $200,000 account. All right, to pay your bills like immediately. This is an account of only $500. So you're going to be trading this on days that you wouldn't trade your bigger account. You're going to be trading this on Monday. I used to trade on Sunday to Friday. The only day I really didn't trade was on Saturday. The market's closed, but I could trade on Saturday on Bitcoin. So I could probably trade 7 days a week if I really wanted to. I could trade 7 days a week, but you know, just for me, um, Sunday never worked out for me. And I feel like the Lord was trying to tell me, like, to take one day off of trading a week, because if your mind is focused on trading too much, I don't think it's good for you. I think everybody needs like 1 day, 2 day breaks. I take with my big account, I'm not trading on Monday, so I'm only trading Tuesday, Wednesday, and really Thursday. And sometimes I'll jump on Friday mornings and trade, but it closes at a certain time. So with this account, I want you guys to trade Monday through Friday. So that's 5 days, which is going to be 20 days to 22 days of trading a week. And we're going to start out with $500. And I'm going to show you guys how fast you can start making some money, you know, in a month. This is a month right here of time, 22 days. If you make 8% on your account a day, all right, for 22 days straight, you're going to make $2,516. So what did you do? You 5 times your account. You start out with $500. Now it's $2,500. And then people are saying, well, how are we going to make 8% a day? Well, with the strategy to win 8% a day, on a low account, remember, we're not in a high account right here, because you can get wiped out real quick trying to make 8% a day on your conservative big account. This is on an account that where, like Lakana got a purse this week. Somebody just gave her, one of the sisters in our ministry that's new to our ministry. She's been out there bringing people to the Lord with us at the beach and stuff like that. And she got her like a $4,000 Louis Vuitton purse. So it's like $500 is not something that's going to hurt your family. It's not something that's going, you lose $500 on some marriage situations. It might be some big problems in your marriage, right? This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about you have $500 that's like in your bank, or $500 is, I was with Gail the other day, and her and her friend go out to Mr. A's. It's one of the most popular restaurants in San Diego, and they spend like $400 on two people. So like $500 is something like that. It's like something that in two dinners you're gonna pay for that or something. It's not, $500 is not to where you're gonna start having problems paying your bills and stuff. So remember, this is extra money that you have. Don't do $500 unless you really have it. I'm just totally being honest with you. I don't want you doing this $500 unless you have it. I got to put that disclaimer out there, because $500 of you losing your account, some people have quit trading because they lost $500 on an account, right? So $500 you put in, you put whatever you want right here, and I'm gonna put it in for you. You'll see. So if I say $30 right here, and then you click on this white area right here, so $30, if I'm doing 8%, I'm gonna make 150 down here. What do we see? In 22 days, you're gonna 5 times your money again, 5 times your money. So it's always gonna work out like that. So you'll always be able to build up your account, depending on what you put in here. But the magic number, I think, is really $1,000. Okay. It's really $1,000. But I'm gonna start you out at 500 up here. But $1,000 works a little different because you put $1,000 in here. At the end of the month, you made $5,000. Now you could take half of that out and you can start paying some bills, right? At $500 right here, it's gonna take you a couple months. It'll take you, about 30 days to get to that $5,000. But look at this. If we go to day 30, day 30 is right here. Now you're talking about you got $9,000 on 1,000, right? Day, if you go to the 44th day, which is 2 months of you trading, you're at $27,000 if you put $1,000 in here. Now every day you're making $2,189. Now people are saying, "Wow, if you could teach me how to make $2,200 a day trading, I'm done." I'm totally bought in. I'm totally bought in. But this is the strategy to where you're winning 8% a day. So, well, how do we make that 8% a day? That's what you need to really want to know in the first place. How are you going to make the 8% a day? And we're going to go over that. But let me go back to what we're all starting with is this 500. Even if it's a demo account for $500, we're going to start right there. And let's see in 2 months what we have with the $500. 44 days. What do we have here? 44 days with $500, we're at $13,600. We're making $1,000 a day. Now, doesn't $1,000 a day sound really good to you now? Even though you started out with $500, the sweet spot is $1,000. But the a great thing is $500. A great thing is $100. Some people have $100 to spare to start this challenge with us. We're starting this challenge. This week is going to be a lot about the strategy, but we're going to start out with this account. Hopefully, everybody can start out with this $100, $500, $1,000 account. It doesn't have to be real money; it could be demo money. But we're going to all do this together, and so that's why I'm giving people different options. So this is a $100 challenge, right? So in a $100 challenge in 22 days, we're at what? 5 times the money. So what are we on 22 times? 42 times or 44. We're at $2,739 and we're making $200 a day. Well, some of y'all just came in here to make $200 a day. Some people are saying, Lonnie, what you just showed me making $200 a day is more than I make at my job. And a lot of people are at that point where $200 is more than they make at their job, unless you live in California, because California they pay people that work at McDonald's $20 an hour, and eight. That's not going to be this right here. This is going to be a little bit more than somebody makes at McDonald's, but wow, high price of living though. Okay. So I'm gonna go back to the one in the middle. So remember, think of, do you have $100? Do you have $500? Do you have $1,000? Right? Okay, we're gonna go back and we're gonna put 500 because that's the middle range. Now you guys know why I picked that number. And I have did this for the last 6 years with people, and this has changed people's life. This Millionaire Marathon right here. I used to call it Forex Secrets Unleashed. Let me go ahead and switch that for you guys. So then we have the right one on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this to you. And then all you can do is just start filling it in. You're going to get a copy and you're going to be able to fill it in. What you don't want to do is get this master copy. And when you start changing it, it changes everybody's stuff at the same time. We went through that one time where it was like changing everybody's stuff at the same time. It was like a nightmare. But but Google's a special, special thing. Let's see here. All right, I'll fix that. But when you get it, you'll see it'll say Millionaire Marathon right here, because that's what it really is. So, how do you make 8% on a trade? 8% on a trade? No, we're not doing 8% on a trade. We're trying to win like 2 trades a day at least. Okay. And so we're trying to compound our trades on top of each other. So we're trying to make 5% on a trade. So 5% on a trade. And let's open up the document. So each trade, this is the rules right here. The rules, the rules. So we're trying to make 8% in a day. So per day, we want to make 8%. Okay, so per trade, we're doing 5% trades. 5% to win or lose. Okay. I know that our main strategy is 1 to 2% on big accounts and life changing stuff because I already know it's going to get you where you want to go over time. Okay. And once we build up one of these accounts to a certain amount, then you're going to start trading this account to 1 to 2%. You're not going to be trading this account at that high percentages anymore. It just is what it is. Some of you guys are going to say, well, why wouldn't we? Because you don't need to at that point. The bigger your account is, the less you're going to be risking to win. Okay. That's just the nature of money. All right. Now, per trade 5. And what do we want to do? We want to win. We want to win 2 trades. 2 trades. And then stop. This is our number one goal. Our number one goal. Okay, this is one. Now remember, this is just one account. So on liquid brokers, you could have more than one account, but this is just one account. And we're going to trade this account different than we trade any other account. This is just one account. And don't worry about, you don't have to take really notes because I'm going to send this to you guys. So you guys have all this. I'll make it real, real simple for you. I want you guys to really just pay attention right now to what's going on. So this is only one account, right? This is a low risk. I mean, a low risk. What do I mean? To lose money. Meaning that what I'm saying here is you're not going to put that big amount of money on, okay? You're going to start this account out either with $100, $500, or $1,000. That's why it's going to be low risk for you because whatever you decide, this isn't going to break your bank, okay? All right, so per day, we want to make 8%. This is the sweet spot right here. Per day, we want to make 8%. Per trade, we're trying to make 5% win or loss. Okay, now the number one goal is for you to make 2 trades in a row and then stop trading. Because once you hit your goal, you're done trading this account that day. So have you ever won 2 trades in a row? Hopefully, a lot of us have. I think the most trades I ever won in a row was like 11 trades in a row. I was on a streak. Because when you're using this type of account, you're writing down everything. You're going to have a journal to where you're going to write down, you're going to have a Google document and you're going to write down how much you made. Now, with liquid brokers, it's going to have your win percentage in the back. It's going to have, all this. You could just rely on that. But I like the journal when I'm in a challenge because then, you can share it with me really quick and you don't have to go to your back office and all that. So, the number one goal is to win 2 trades and then stop. Okay. Now, let's say you lose your first trade, you lost 5%. Now, you cannot lose more than 8% in a day. Never lose more than 8%. Okay, this is one of the concrete rules right here is to never, we're going to put that in red. We never want to lose more because we have to have this in our brain that we're not going to ever lose more than 8%. Because what will happen is you'll keep on trying to win and you'll lose 10%, 16%, 18, 20%. And then it will throw off this whole mission that we have. Okay. So how do you get back, you know, if you lose one of your first 2 trades? So if you lose a trade, okay, let's talk about that. If you lose a trade, then what do? Let's say we lose the first trade. You're going to lose 5%. Okay, but now the most you can lose is 8%. So what do you have to trade the next trade? You must trade 3%. You must trade 3% on your next trade. And now it's kind of harder to get to that 8%. But sometimes you're going to win your first 2 trades and you're going to make what? Win 2 trades and make 10%. You made 10% this day. So some days you're going to win 10%. Some days you're going to, lose the first trade 5%. You come back with the 3%. Now you're still down what? 2%. Sometimes you're going to stop at losing 2%. Sometimes you're going to stop when you lose the first trade at 5% and just switch to another account, right? The best thing to do is to win the 2 trades. Maybe you take 3 trades and you win 15% sometimes. But your number one goal on average is to win your first 2 trades and stop the account. Some people are going to try to do three, 4. You shouldn't really try to make more than 20% on this account in one day. You should, if you're up, 15%, then you're still trading 5%. So if you lose the next trade, then you're down to 10%, you should quit. But sometimes you get on a streak and you keep on doing 5% and you're way up 25%. But the first time you lose a trade when you're on a streak like that, then that's when you basically stop trading that account. Okay. And then you write down, hey, today I made 20%. And sometimes you will make that 20%. Trust me. All right. So if you lose the first trade, the next trade, you're doing 3%. Now you're down 2%. Now you're doing what? Now you could trade a 6% trade. So if you lose the first one, win the second one. So lose the first and win the second. You're at -2% in your account. And so now you could do a 6% or a 5% trade. You can go back to doing your 5%. Because now you're not going to lose more than 5% or 8% in a day. So that's what we got to know. Okay. So now if you lose this trade right here, if you lose the third trade on this 5%, you're down -7%. You're done trading with that account that day. It's okay. You're just going to wake up the next day and trade again. But if you win on this trade right here, you're up 3%. Now you're going to do 5% again. If you win that trade, you're going to be at 8%, and then you're done trading. So if you lose your first trade or you lose, your second trade, now you're only trying to get up to 8%. You're not trying to get on a streak that's going to last you, and trying to go up to 10 to 20%. Okay. So these are some of the things that you want to concern yourself with. Let's go back. Well, did I click it? And I'll make another copy. All right, this is the one I'm gonna send out to everybody. So here we go. Now, the thing that I really like about it, if you stay on course, you stay on track. Let's look down and see where we're gonna be at. All right, so 60, it would be 66 days, would be 3 months of us trading if we're trading Monday through Friday. So right here, at a $500 account, we have made $74,000 now, and we're making $6,000 a day. Now, these are all just the mathematical plugging in stuff, seeing what happens, right? 88 days is 4 months into it. Now we have a $400,000 account. We have 32. Once you get to $100,000 account, we're going to start trading this different. We're going to start trading at 1 to 2% a day. Because that's the sweet spot for you to make $1,000, $2,000, and you not to risk too much of the money. Well, at $500, I'll be darned. 100 days of trading, 100 days of trading, you'll have $1 million. That's why it's called the Millionaire Marathon. How much are you making a day if you're still doing 8%, $81,000 a day? But nobody's doing that because you're gonna put your risk way lower. Let's see if we put $100 in here. What would we be at in 100 days if we could stay constantly making this 8%? We're at $200,000 down here. We're making $16,000 a day at this point. Only $100. Okay, let's look at $1,000. Remember, all you're doing is plugging the number in here. We're at $2 million if you start out with $1,000. So the sweet spot of the Millionaire Marathon, the reason why I made this 100 days, because $500, 100 days of trading is $1 million for you, 8%. Okay. Now, amount to risk per trade, we're going to go up higher. This is really made for this 2%. That's why I always light this up, because usually you want to trade 1 to 2% at a time. That's why I lit up 2% is the average that we're going to always trade. But with this account, we're going to be right here trading the 5%. Why does this matter? Because when you start going up in numbers, you're not going to know. You're going to need a calculator. So that's why I put this on here. Amount to risk per trade right here, 5%. Okay, so if you're the first day you're trading $500, you're going to put your stop loss and your take profit for $25 of profit. Okay. Well, what happens when you get down here at 910th day trading? You're going to trade $49.98. So you need to have it to the cents in the beginning. And after that, you really don't need it once it starts taking off. All right. Now, what about this part right here? Deposits and withdrawals. Okay, some of us are going to need to deposit extra money. Especially if we start out with a $100 account, we might need to make another deposit of 100 somewhere in here, and then it calculates everything for you. Now, some of us are going to start withdrawing money once we start making some good money, right? We're making $200 a day down here. We might take out and say, hey, I need to take out $200 because we just don't want to build up this account and never take out money. You know, I would advise people, if you put $500 in your account, once you make this $1,000, your account is $1,000. I would say take out $100. You know, what would happen? So you just plug in $100 in here. This is the day you made $100 your first time. So you go over here and put $100 in. And then you click on, always click on like the white screen, and then it does everything for you. Put the $100 withdrawal, and it calculates everything for you. And it took it out right here. You see that, you know, it took the money out right here for you. So let's change that back to 0. All right. So now you guys know how much to trade each time. We're trading 5% each time, 5%. So you look over here to see how much your stop loss and take profit is. Right here is where you could withdraw money, or you could put more money in. Okay. We're at an 8% gain. Don't ever touch this. You don't need to touch this right here. Okay. What you do is you're going to touch this right here. This is what you're going to change every day, because it's not going to perfectly be 8%. Okay. So let's say that you make $43. Which one did I have you guys is changing? 1 second here. Thought it was that one. Or is it this one? I think this is the one we changed. Let me copy down this. And so if I start out with $500 and I won today, you can look at your back office, and let's say you won $50. Let's see if this is what I change. Yeah. So you're going to change the dollar goal. So if I did $50, start out with 500, I made $50 and I stopped trading that day, then what gain did I really make? Right? This is your desired growth, but your gain is 10%. You made 10% today. Right? So if I switch this and I say I made $30 this day, then how much did I win? I won 6% today. So this is actually what's happening right here. I think you could even change this right here too. But let me plug back in the mathematical equation. All right, let me see if this is the same. So if I say I won $70 right here, so it's not right here. So what you're going to change is this right here. So this is all that you're going to change. This green number right here. Always remember, this is the one that you're changing every day. And all you're doing is you're plugging in how much money you make. You don't have to touch any of this other stuff, except for if you withdraw or deposit anything, you're going to change this. So the only thing that you come in once again and change is this dollar gain right here, or you change this yellow stuff right here. That's it. Everything else you don't touch. These are all mathematical equations. You could throw off the whole system if you start like putting stuff in, because everything has a rhyme or reason. Like this right here has 3 different equations to equal that, right? This right here has 3 different equations. So don't touch anything, because you could throw off this whole thing, and then you'll need to ask me for a new one, and I'll have to give you like the new one. Okay. So you're going to change right here. You made $80 today. You did really good. All right, everything changes. You made 16% today. Okay, this day you made, I don't even want to change it for you guys. Oh, see what just happened? Just go back. And what I did was control Z, and it brought it back to normal. But let me show you guys. I'm gonna put this calculation up here. And I'm gonna put this calculation underneath it. All right, and let me show you. So today I made $80. Boom, I put that in here. Today I only made $30 trade. Okay, so now I made what? $80. I made 16%. The next day I got $580 to trade and only made 3% on $580, which is only 5% now I made that day. And let's go to the next day and let's plug in. And the next day, I make $70. And what did I make that day? So I have 670. I made $70. I made 11%. And so it's not going to be perfectly 8% every day. It's going to be up and down, up and down. You know, try to at least stay on track and try to make 3%. Let's say, let's change this one and say that we lost money. How do you do that? How do you do lost money? So you put a negative, then you put in the number. And so that's negative 60. So you just put the negative in, you lost 9% today. You see that? So all you do is put a negative sign, which is right next to the backspace on the top, right next to the zero. To the right of the zero, there's a negative sign. And so you're just going to put that and you're going to put how much you lost that day. If you lost $50, it looks like that. That's 8% that you lost that day. And you got to get back on record. But it's not going to knock you off of everything so quick. You're still at, let's say, at the end of the road, now you're at 900,000 instead of 1,000,000 on 100 days, which isn't going to even matter to you. All right. So does everybody know how to plug in the dollar gains? And this is going to be a video too that you guys are going to be able to follow. That's why I'm trying to take my time with it. So you're going to change this right here. You're going to change if you withdraw money. You're going to change if you deposit more money. Okay. And then you're going to be trading right here. This 5% every time. Let me go ahead and plug back in the mathematics. All right, now we're back to normal, and this is the one that I'm gonna send you guys out. So this is our whole secret to success. It is this right here. This is our whole secret to success. This is gonna map everything for us. This is gonna track everything for us. And so, what are we gonna be trading? We could trade the Telegram signals, right? And also on these Telegram signals, I was thinking about making a new channel and giving it to everybody and then add some forexes on here, or I could just add the forexes to this right here. So just be more trades coming. And I think I'm just gonna add like 3 forexes. Euro USD, USD JPY, and Euro JPY. Those are my favorite trades that I take always on a constant basis. I don't have them back here, but we see a lot of Bitcoin. I don't want you guys really trading Bitcoin on the weekdays. And so stay doing that, please. And let's look at the market. So this will be one of the trades that I think I'm going to add to that. Here goes another trade that I'm going to add to it. This one right here. But it wouldn't be the 5 minutes. It would be 15. But you could trade on the 5 minutes if you guys want to. If you want to trade really fast trades. That one. And then this one right here. These are all good wins right here. Wow. Euro USD is really like the easiest trade now since gold started acting weird. But we see that all these trades are winning. So Euro USD, Euro JPY, and USD JPY is going to be added. And I think I'll just put it in the regular Telegram one for you guys. Let's see what's been happening today. The market opened up and did big. It went way up, way down. Gold is going down. That happened at 5:15. Here goes a trade that just came out on the bot SPX. So if you guys were listening to me and then trading the bot, you would have won this trade right here. Amazon is crushing with the bot. Let's look at the different times for US 30. Ethereum still going up. I got out already. There was some good stuff about Solana. It went up 2% today. I sent you guys that thing to where banks are going to start using Solana, and it went up 2% today. So that would have been a good buy for you guys to hold on to Solana. I really love that to just hold on to. All right, so our first day is going to be about the Millionaire Mentor. The next day, I'm going to show you guys, how to take a 8% or a 5% trade, how to plug it in and how it works, and hopefully, we win 2% of the trades. I probably won't even really. We might just wait for a bot trades to come through, so I can show you how the bot trades work with it. But if none are coming through like tomorrow morning, I'm just going to take some trades just so you guys can see how it works. And I want you guys to see, how to make 8% in a day, what it looks like. And we're going to move forward. So today, you guys go ahead and start a demo account for 100, 500, or 1,000, or put real money into the account so you can start this challenge with us. We'll probably be trading starting out after we understand the challenge and we know what to do. Go through all the rules that we did. We basically put some rules up today, and I'll be putting some more stuff up. And we'll have these videos, these 3 videos of Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to guide you through this challenge. This challenge is going to last probably the whole summer at least. and then we'll probably start a new challenge after that. There's all kind of challenges we could do once we understand how to do the 10 or the 8%. We could switch it to 10%. We could lower it down to 5% a day, depending on which way we want to go. And so this is a way to make a whole lot of money. And look at this. US 30 is really shooting up. It shot up, went down, now it's going right back up. And so you guys be ready, be ready, be ready, be ready. Tomorrow with your account at hand. And if you're doing the demo account, don't feel bad about it because the demo account's gonna turn into a real account once you really know what you're doing. All right, you guys, God bless. You guys have a great day. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. I'm make this on a video, and this will be about the Millionaire Marathon and starting the challenge. You guys have a great day. Be back tomorrow.